1-2 Nip holding out. Dorms 1-2 Team 1 taking Laundry. So they have the option to go back to Laundry if they want. But hey, it's down to them. Obviously, we've seen them take a lot of kind of towers, but no, they're going straight back into Laundry. And it'd be interesting to see how they change it, because obviously they set a fair bit up upstairs, but both their roamers got picked very quickly.
Yeah, really good bit of drone work coming out from Team 1 as well, especially. And we'll see iBlacks again returning onto that role on Zofia, which he did so well on. But we're actually going to see Maverick for the first time this series, which honestly is a little bit surprising, because we have a Habana ban, but no. Hakazodi is actually going to 6-pick onto the IQ, which I think is actually a fair bet.
Yeah, it's a very smart decision. I mean, we saw the IQ being utilized before, very quickly shutting down the Echo drones, and then physically the Echo as well, but they're still bringing that Echo on the board. It was so decisive in dropping you, and they've got the Valk as well is back on the board. So to take out IQ at this moment would be the worst decision.
We'll see how it goes down as we see Ninja's Pyjamas go back downstairs. It could be Laundry day for them as we go down to a laundry room, supply room defense, and hopefully trying to be a little bit more successful in the room. I really think that Julio needs to calm down a little bit.
He's in some particularly confusing positions, I would say, for Julio. For any player to find himself in, obviously dug behind the A-bomb just on the most recent round, and then obviously very aggressively forward against the wall that had already been blown up in the round before. So I think, you know, it's those early aggressions you find.
I think a big part of why he wasn't holding it from the supply closet is because very, very easy for Capitao or someone with nades or, you know, iBlacks with the Zofia charges to really pin down the mirror who's in supply closet there. So
5 seconds left.
I don't disagree with him playing aggressively. I think that at the point though it was 2v5 and it's kind of easy to spot someone out there if you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, it was pretty quickly shut down. But they've got the Valk back on the board now. Obviously, Valk was used fairly well in the first defense. They have the Maestro and they have the Echo. There is so much possibility for kind of information gathering, which we've already seen has been a big part of both these guys' defenses and attacks.
Well, we'll see how it goes down as Ion quickly makes his way into the showers area, looking for those feetsies. We'll see how he does with this. Great roam clear still coming out from Team 1, just already getting into the master bedroom. But Nip with a much more conservative strategy this time, choosing not to really play too heavily on the roam, only playing PZD in the meeting hall, but not really playing anyone upstairs in the dorms area.
No, obviously PZD is going to try and hold this for as long as possible. Has the Valk to back them up as well, just in case. They're just going to try to hold this vertical for as long as possible, as you said, and they've got all the drop downs open. So they have their escapes, they have their rotations. The Claymore is going down to stop them rotating through meeting, well, potentially catching them through kitchen to try to get them off. But you can see, again, this kind of roam clear. They're going to blow open the top of Attic, and they're going to start to dig underneath towards the two below.
Yeah, Valkyrie cameras will be found there by iBlacks as well. Lots of drones coming out from Team 1 and doing very, very well so far to gain quite a lot of control so early on. Julio going to get very, very aggressive with it here onto the laundry stairs. He's going to finally find that drone and return back to the supply room, but not a single kill either way just yet.
No, this is probably the longest that we've seen, obviously, out of this so far, where these guys haven't actually managed to pick off a roamer. This shows that, obviously, as we said after the first round, Team 1 learned what they needed to do, and yet again, we come back into it, and Nip are learning how they can just survive, how they can hold out, and just keep time. Because if they can find a way to collapse back onto Team 1's execute, that can be a very easy sweep.
Now, see MPs coming down, that's going to disable both the Maestro camera and the Yokai drone as well, so potentially they could use that in combination with pushing with smokes and things, which they do have on the board here. We'll see how it goes down. Slowly but surely, but the execute starts to come through. Team 1 starts to move down. iBlacks does manage to destroy the barbed wire and destroys the Maestro cam as well. EMPs come down yet again from Panico. That's 2 EMPs off the board, just 1 left remaining as smokes are going to start to go out from Jackal. Julio tries to get in position to go for this Nitro sooner rather than later to try and deny the plant. The plant will start going down, but no one can deny it just yet. Psycho goes down, the Nitro goes out, but he's going to miss. No, from Julio, but he does find the shot. What was that? Through the smoke, Julio with a headshot. GDN denies the plan, and that's beautiful from Nip so far to try and deny this. Julio's still peeking out again, still trying to get very aggressive. The plant is going to go down. Panico takes down Wag. 4v3 now as Julio gets another kill. iBlacks going to go down. Kamikaze takes down Panico. but the diffuser will go down successfully. Nip in a 3v2 now, just all pushing around, but Team 1 doing very, very well to hold it down so far. The diffuser slowly doing its work. Ion still just holding down from the hatch. They're going to be expecting this, so peaks are going to come out from Nip slowly but surely as a game ball, but no Ion. It's just not going to be looking the same way. Nitro comes out, but doesn't manage to find his mark. 2v1, but no. Hugzod will clean up. Julio goes down, and an unsuccessful retake will end in a Team 1 victory.
Now, that was very good, but I think a big part of that, obviously, is they didn't really start to push back from tower. They kind of gave up control of meaning. They gave it away. You saw Thatch was in there and able to just cover the backs and then even start aggressively pushing against the back set where Maestro won the frag. And then you think, well, how else can we take control of this? We know that the plant is going down. Obviously, Julio is holding down to the best of Julio's ability, which is good, but they'd pushed them out. And you've got to think, well, that's where you come in with your rotates and stuff. But that was very, very close. Julio even somehow managing to regain the C4 and get the throw out. And again, that almost hit. That almost caught.
But doesn't go down just yet. Unfortunately, despite Nip's best efforts, they still cannot take that laundry defense. They'll go back upstairs to make his Dom's main hold defense, which was pretty good for them last time, actually. Yeah,
they, as we said, I mean, apart from obviously a couple of bits of over-aggression, they held it very well. They shut it down very well. Obviously, the big difference here is the IQ is here. And if you remember from that first round, they almost got the diffuser down, but it was the Echo that was actually stopping it go down. They did have operators nearby to pick up the frags, but their plan A was to use that Echo to stop the plant. And you've got the counter to the plan A now, so you're going to have to force Nip to find their plan B.
Yeah, and there's a lot of counters here to Echo as well. I mean, we've got Sophia who could open up a soft destruction from below you and potentially catch out the Echo drone. We've still got Thatchers on the board, which disable the Yokai drone. IQ obviously could find it, and those Valkyrie cameras as well. And yeah, there's just so much on the board. Of course, as well with Jackals, what you've got to think is smokes can go out, that can cover you, and you can try and plant in the smoke, and maybe the Yokai drone doesn't know exactly where in the smoke that you are to enable to plant. But also, Jackal can track the Echo and pin him down.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen moments where smoke has covered it against those kind of Echo clutches as well, but it was a big part of the way WAC was playing it. So that is, since then, they've gone, we're bringing an IQ every round, and yeah, it has been working. Hugzord is a big one for this Team 1 attack so far. Ion is starting to close down with the Jackal. It seems like they're going for the same push they took last time. Obviously, they almost had the diffuser down, but maybe one more frag and they would have felt a lot more comfortable going in. They took vertical control pretty quickly and then didn't really utilize it for much.
Yeah, no, that is very, very true indeed. They didn't really use vertical play that much. We haven't really seen that much from Team 1 overall. We haven't really seen them run a buck on this map before either. No. So it's not been popular from them. Wag's drone is going to be able to retreat back into the meeting hall, however, as Team 1 do go for that very nice roam clear still. Taking control of the master bedroom already. They have a lot of control, but they haven't really done too much with it. But GDN will start to do some work. Opens up to the walk-in, opens up Gen Wall. Ion will open up a bit of a rotate for himself here.
Just a little bit of one as he starts to dig his way through. Now, they have long sight lines. They have a minute 42. That is a lot of time to start closing it down. You can already see just the drones and the amount of drones moving towards where this newly opened wall has become. Kamikaze is trying to watch the long angle down Armory corridor with that beastly Maestro. One of the Echo drones is down, battling with Zafia downstairs, it seems, underneath in garage entrance. PZD, who did get a frag from underneath last time, is still rotating around meeting, still has a lot of freedom. It seems like they're not really putting too much attention on him. Obviously, Ion is covering just in case he potentially comes up through Attic, but you can start to hear the mirrors opened and Zafia charges popping off.
Team 1 doing great work here so far just to affect all the utility on the site, but again, they haven't really done anything with it so far. They do have the potential for an execute though, however, as the Valkyrie cams do go down. That's a huge amount of utility off the board now. Nip really going to have to do some work here, but there's still so much utility on Nip's end. Smokes are going to start going down, but Julio still has that Nash in his back pocket, as he will throw that out. But oh, that's going to be a team kill. Kamikaze, why would you push like that? That is not good at all. Nip, their first kill of the round, do take Kamikaze off the board. Psycho goes down. Julio takes down Ion, but Julio with the double kill takes down GDN as well, just pushes all the way in. All down to Panico and Hugzod now, so Hugzod recovers the diffuser, but Julio with his third takes down Panico. PCD cleans up on Hugzod. Nip take round number 4.
Wow, Julio is on a little bit of a blood spree right now. Obviously, accidentally C4ing your teammate on a push, the Maestro as well, is never great. But then being able to then pick up a 3K to kind of go, whoops, my bad.
Well, yeah, he got the 4K then.
Oh, is it a 4K?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He
killed
yeah.
the technical 4K. Okay. The technical 4K. But 2-2. This is the final defensive round. We're going to go back down to Laundry. So obviously they lost this twice. They're thinking the third time is the charm. Obviously they still have 2 other points that they could take, but Laundry is arguably the most sturdy out of all of them. So instead they're going to go with a plan, go with a set strategy, and hope that, hey, yeah, the third time it can pull off. They have Bandit, Echo, Mira, Elysian Valk currently. Obviously the main difference between this attempt and the previous attempt and the one before that is no Maestro, but they've kept the Valkyrie.
Yeah, I mean, even though they did lose this defense last time, it was fairly close. It was fairly close to the plant not even going down in the first place. If that Nitro had sailed a little bit faster, if it hadn't got caught on the door frame, I think that would have been Nip victory for that round, because that could have been 1, potentially 2 kills on the board there for Julio. He would have denied the plan, and it would have gone all into Nip's favor, but because the plant went down, even then, there was still a good retake coming out from Nip. They still managed to get kills on the board. They still had the man advantage when they were coming through.
He's having a bit of C4 bad luck. I think we've seen Julio having today so far. But Kamikaze setting up inside kitchen with the Legion. Psycho digging as many holes as possible and getting that information from meeting. They have reinforced at least one of the meeting hatches, but left the other one currently soft, so whether they're going to open electric hatch or not, or they're just going to go and reinforcement, get the outside cameras done first as Psycho rotates back down to point. We can see both PZD and Kamikaze playing off in the kind of dorms area, so they're going for a hold that they kind of had the first round that didn't go so great. Maybe they're going to start falling back more and more. Obviously, they don't have the castle this time as well.
No, they don't have the castle. I don't think that castle's too essential for this, especially when you're playing this fairly conservatively, because we've only seen castle from Nip when they want to play fairly aggressively, when they'd be holding on to places where you've got to have the denying of the angles that castle gives you. But Nip kind of just abandoned that strategy now. They're playing this a little bit less roamer.
Yeah, they have, obviously. Everyone is quickly closing down towards where Valkyrie was. PCD's got a little bit closer, hanging around kitchen now. Still concerned about the push coming from west, but so far it looks like they're generally stacking up around Psycho, going for a tower push, or at least a tower clear to start off their aggression towards the point. Psycho suffering a few drones, drops the one, gonna just try and hold out upstairs for as long as possible. PZD, you can see, is about to go out for a run out on the far side, and just to try to back up the Valkyrie just in case. They do have those cams outside feeding information, but again, that is going to be a hard push for PZD with those guns at that range against that Jackal. It's not an easy firefight.
No, it's not an easy firefight at all. And I think Ion's definitely expecting some kind of run out here, but Team 1 are wasting a lot of time on this tower push right now. Psycho still amazing at being held onto here. Not going to get picked just yet, but he's still playing this fairly conservatively. He's just trying desperately not to give up one of those angles.
Yeah, he realizes that when Team 1 suffer is when they kind of run out of time, and this is one of those jobs of the Rona. PZD does find Panico in and amongst that, takes a fair bit of damage, but that's the Thatcher off the board. That's quite a big, well, it's a big take in a lot of people's teams. Obviously, there's no mute or anything really in this, but they have been using, obviously, Echoes. They've been using it very well. They're throwing away their push against the big tower, and they're just running straight in. Mira finding a firefight with Jackal and finishing it off with the C4 double. There is the C4 bad luck gone.
Great kills coming out from Julio there. Going to leave it all to Hugs on GDN. Hugs on goes down. GDN does pick Julio, though. It's going to be a 1v4, all down to the frag bite. Tries to get another one, does successfully pick Psycho and the Echo Drone. It is all GDNs to win right now. He goes for the peak, but no, Wag doesn't let him have it. Takes him down. Nip take round number 5 and move to the second half with an advantage.
So they shake their downstairs basement blues before they go into the halftime when we swap over. And it'll be interesting to see where Team 1 want to start to hold, because their laundry attacks were generally pretty concise until that final one.
Yeah, generally pretty concise indeed. We'll see how it goes down as we see Team 1 moving through for their first defenses. But we've typically seen that Oregon for a lot of teams has been fairly defend-decided.
Yep.
But with the smoke ban, I really don't think Oregon is going to be.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, we've seen so far these rounds have been pretty back and forth, pretty bat for bat between these guys. They're very much picking up on how the other team likes to play and almost direct countering. And to be fair, for all the times we've kind of sat and watched these games and gone, bring this operator would be good, this would be a good counter, and you start to see it 3 rounds maybe in. And I think IQ is always a great example of that, because we see a lot of teams very obviously using something that can be countered with IQ, and yet IQ never really shows up until it's too late. Whereas Team 1 were very quick with getting their response with it, their response in operators on the board.
Speaking of which, Julio is going to stick pick from the IQ onto the Julio? Well, I mean, Blitz is the Julio,
yeah,
right?
Well, that's the thing. We called this as an operator that it wouldn't be the worst idea in the world to target ban, because Julio is a very good Blitz player.
Well,
the top tier.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, but that is my main argument here, is even if it wasn't Julio playing the Blitz here, Blitz great for that West main take, great for the initial roam play on Oregon as well, just so many of those space corridors you can get that Blitz is great on. There's no lesion from the defense right now as well. That's definitely going to hurt them. Of course, there's no smoke because it's banned. So there isn't really a lot that Team 1 even have to deal with Julio right now on that Blitz. And combine that with the fact that Julio is one of the best Blitz players.
Yeah, I think we're about to see full speed Julio, because he's been having a very good fragging game so far. Some certain C4 tosses aside, he's shaking that bad luck now. He is a very excellent fragger, and I think he is very excited to open up on this meeting. They want to start to close down the top of tower. They're generally going for that tower clear first. Obviously, they couldn't push through straight basement, but iON locks off Julio straight away.
He's just going to get absolutely wall-banged through. Oh, no. What a disaster. Julio going to go down already, and you can tell he isn't happy about that one.
No, I don't think any Blitz player in the world would have been unhappy about that. But
I think we didn't quite see it, but I think what happened is that he went for the melee, but obviously when you melee with the shield, it slightly curves it off, and he went for the wallbang at the same time, and he's got a body shot and killed him.
One of those moments. But iON is still covering Electric Hatch. They can hear the destruction that's coming from underneath and from tower. They know now that they're starting to close down, and there is the visual signifier as Thermite starts blowing open holes and goes through the rotate straight away. Kamikaze is pushing towards bunker with the Ying, which would be, you know, if you're going to have an operator try to push through there, Ying is not a bad choice, but at the same time, you've got to start thinking, well, how can we pick this apart? Because they so far have almost zero control.
But Team 1 do have quite a lot of control still, but oh, it's going to get deleted as Psycho takes Iblox off the board already. The Bandit gone. GDN slowly getting pushed out here in the attic, and it's not looking too good anymore for Team 1, because if they lose attic control, a lot of the rest of the control is going to go with it.
Yeah, attic is such a big part of this, and it really does force out anything you kind of have in meeting pretty much, especially with the operators there. It's a very hard place to hold, but at the same time, there's a minute left. Kamikaze finds Hogsword, they're closing it down. GDN starts to pick a firefight, gets flashed out. Second flash from PZD, just making sure. Gonna hard push, the spray comes out. But there is the pickup as Panico gets wagged in the meantime.
Now Candles are going to come out there. Panico with the shotgun. He's going to find the kill onto Kamikaze. That was very, very close, but Candle's going to come down. Can't find the kill, but Psycho does manage to find the kill to Panico. Instantly shredded out by iON. And it's all down to the 1v1. PZD versus iON. PZD getting ready to drop here. Don't think he has any flashbangs. No, he will not have any flashbangs left remaining, but does have plenty of utility in the form of the breaching torch. But there's only 20 seconds left to go on the clock to try and do something about iON, and this is not the 1v1 that you really want to go for here, but he's going to drop down. Doesn't manage to silent drop, however, into Electric, takes the diffuser, and he's going to go for the plant. iON doesn't even know he's doing it.
If this diffuser goes down, we did see him set up the drone on the corridor. His teammates are watching it. They would have given the information that they were starting to push from there, and now it is the battle over the bomb. But iON closes down. PZD shoots the diffuser as well, but no, that's not how we do it anymore. We have fancy new tools. Please utilize it as that round goes to Team 1.
Unless you are very, very lucky, a Maverick on such low HP is not going to win that fight against a Maestro on full HP.
No, he kind of went for the whole plant there, tried to play it all the way out, and we saw, as we said, he rolled out the drone, so his teammates would have given him information. So you think, you know, yeah, he needed to risk sticking the plant, but maybe taking the Maestro by surprise and trick. Like, well, no, pros never fake. Pros never fake. But maybe. What ifs However, we look at this kind of scoreboard, and obviously it's not all about fragging, but Julio getting dropped, obviously 7-2, 7-3, or whatever Julio is currently running, losing him straight away from some animation issues. You know, it's
you just hate to see it.
You
it's
just hate to
unlucky.
see it. But we go to Dorm's main hall for the 3rd time today. We will see if there's any change. Obviously, they have the Thermite. They still got the Maverick again. We didn't see a huge amount of Maverick usage, but it wasn't really called on at the same time. Maestro, Mira, Legion, Bandit, and Echo all on the table.
I think as well, we were partly to blame to Julio's death there, because Cast's Curse. We were bigging it up quite a lot. We bigged it up. We were talking about how great this Blitz is going to be, and then...
The thing about the Caster's Curse is if we sat here and said how rubbish all these players were, we would get absolutely destroyed. So I'd rather curse them and then...
Can't have it both ways.
Can't have it both ways. But we see Ivax setting up, covering off all of Addict. They're not going to risk any kind of rotations there. As we said, it is a big point of contention. So they're just going to lock it off. Hugzord going to get a lot of opened up downstairs. Barbed wire again. This is a very big potential point for vertical control. We've seen some beautiful kills up and down through the floor because it's all very tight as well. The movement can be kind of quick against it in some of these rotations. Obviously, they're still opening up. They haven't really done anything above big window. It looks like they're just going to kind of leave that. Ion is going to be playing in dining hall, potentially covering that west entrance, but it seems like they are all setting up for that main push.
And it seems they are setting up for it indeed. Team 1 with a fairly aggressive roam strategy downstairs here. It seems dedicating quite a number of operators to that, but Nib don't really have the operators to go for an effective roam clear here.
Yeah, obviously they've got Dakabi on the board for the first time from Julio, but at the same time you kind of think, well, how are they going to utilize this? How are they going to set themselves up? Are they going to try to clear out Panico and Ion underneath? They're going for showers. You can hear the explosions coming from main towards this kitchen, so they definitely want to get it shut down first. 2 drones are heading their way as well. They're still not really entering the building. They're weighing everything up, which to be fair against a team like Team 1, who can be very tight, it's the smart move for now.
For now, but Ion still holding down into the kitchen, still huge amounts of control for Team 1, but we saw this fairly similar situation last round, and really that came down to the wire in a 1v1 right at the end. So Panico going to be moving up onto the white stairs. What? How do you win the fight? Kamikaze going to go down, PZD goes down to Ion, and already looking very, very nice for Team 1.
As you said, they didn't really have much for that roam clear, and yet they still tried to push with the Maverick leading the roam clear as well. Obviously, Ying got a little bit caught out in the open there, breaking into the windows. Maybe didn't expect to find the Maestro there, but that's all 3 of your Candelas just completely wasted, which, if anything here was good for just clearing a room, Candelas are up there.
Yeah, Saka going to make his way through into the bathroom corridor, trying to get into the bathroom. Here's the Dokubi call, but Hugs are going to shut him right on down. And he's completely ineffective here. Julio and Wag are left remaining on the clock here. Let's see how it does go down. Not looking too good for Nip to try and bring this in. There's still plenty of utility on the board here. Not looking good at all. Team 1 still with a very rigid hold, but what a shot from Wag. Takes Iron off the board. Ivax going to refrag it back onto Wag, but Julio with his own refrag takes down Iblex. Now it's in a 1v3, but it does have a Logic Bomb left remaining, which he will decide to deploy. Hugzord and Panico both very, very low, but Panico holding from above. Julio doesn't realize, gets picked out. Team 1 take round number 7 with flawless defenses so far.
Now we saw the Echo drone obviously at the end of there playing around in the corridor beneath, just giving information on all of those pushes. So it looked like obviously Nip were going for these pushes and they had the upper hand, but obviously you never really know the information that's being passed around a team. And that was some very clear, concise information. They knew exactly when to pick those fights and push back against Nip. And that's some very good roam play from Ion, Panico, and Hugzord as well. But we go to rear stage watchtower for the first time today.
I mean, even though Team 1 still won it, I still think they were playing way too over-aggressive there with a lot of those peaks. I mean, there was a lot of battles that they just should not have won, especially that Maestro just pushing all the way into white. If it had been anyone else other than Ying, I think he probably would have lost that fight.
They did. He won the fight, right? Jaeger, Maestro, Doc, who at this point you just assume if you see a Doc or a Rook ACOG, they're going to be playing the top of Big Tower on this point, trying to hold it for as long as possible. Valkyrie and Legion. Valkyrie, again, very important for this site. Often cited that Mira is a big part of this site, and yet she is not being chosen.
Well, really only cited by me.
Only sight by you. That's why I looked at you when I said it, but there's no one else I can look at. So no mirror, they're going to roll with the Maestro instead. Potentially, it'll see how interesting they use it to lock it off. At the same time, there's a Fear and Ash being bought. Julio has rotated again off a different operator. He's going to go to Twitch, hand off, or the Ying has been handed off to Kamikaze. And then Wag on the Thermite. They're just struggling to kind of get their entrances and get a bit of confidence into or against Team 1, it seems.
We'll see how it goes down. I think that Nip's roam clear has been pretty poor so far, but this is one of those... I don't know. Like, this is one of those particular sites that you can really hold down, you can really attack without necessarily going for a huge roam clear. It kind of depends on how you want to take this, though, because if you're taking it from Big Tower, then yeah, you need to make sure that there's not a massive potential for runouts from Dining Hall and Small Tower.
Yeah. That's always the big issue. I mean, we've seen them kind of taunt those kind of runouts throughout this game as well. Here is what we call Doc heading to the very top with that ACOG. Has the Maestro cam to help back them up as well. Going to be looking for any potential chance to get a little bit of back and forth firefighting. Going to, again, survive up there for as long as possible. Digs the window, and Ash is paying attention, however. So that might turn into a very quick firefight. Hugsword as well, just kind of playing up there with the ACOG. And Panico is going to rotate into Dorms.
I'm kind of surprised that Psycho just didn't, spawn construction and just push all the way up into this right side of where Wag is and just go for the pre-fire in the window immediately. It seems to be a fairly popular choice. We've seen early kills come out from other teams doing that.
Looks like they're trying to catch someone out on the rotation, which, to be fair, has been done before. But Team 1, they're generally being very set in the strategy at the beginning. They like to lock down. They know exactly where they need to be. As I said, the communication between them when things start to go wrong or when they find information out on the attackers really plays in their favor. Panico has rotated down to Small Tower offices, going for those cross peaks against Julio, firing them at long range as Kamikaze starts to try to close in against the staircase.
There is a Legion on the board this time, which is pretty essential to this defense, I would say, especially in terms of getting info, but Psycho instantly can take Iron off the table. Already the Valkyrie gone. Looking pretty good for Nip so far. Psycho going to be waiting for those rotates to come through from Panico now. Move through onto the bottom of the stairs as Wag trying to go for a plant, but can't get it down just yet. Very aware that there could be pushes coming through. Wag going to be putting flashbangs in. Candel's going to the site. Oh, but the run out comes Kamikaze on 1 HP, but does win the fight against Panico. Takes him down. That's a 3v5. This is looking very good for Nip all of a sudden.
Yeah, that was very good from Kamikaze there to react. Obviously, exceptionally low health there, but you dropped that other roam and the Jaeger, who arguably could have and should have won that fight. They still almost got GDN there down in bunker. PZD finally locks it off, and the diffuser goes down. Wag finds another one, and suddenly it is all over as we go 4-4.
Iblat's getting very, very brave with it there right at the end. Managed to shoot the barricade just a little bit rather than hitting it, so not giving away that he was going to go for a run out, but I feel like it was still fairly obvious that that is a possibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just boosted himself, jumped out right at the end to try and deny the plant, didn't go down for him. Team 1 losing a lot of those 1v1 fights, not a lot of trading of frags going out there from them, which is kind of disappointing to see considering how they did a lot of the pushes. But there wasn't a very good roam clear from Nip at all, but as I said, they didn't even really need to do that.
No, kind of. They just started to push. Obviously, they managed to throw Ash in, drop down Valkyrie on the other side.
Yeah.
And then spun around. Were aware that they had Jaeger playing, but didn't go for the kill. Kind of let them kind of wait. And then obviously Jaeger got the run out, and it was a very important pick there to take down that run out. Because otherwise, if Kamikaze had dropped, then that would have been a very different push and situation to still have that Jaeger on the board. So good picks, good trades from Nip for the first time on their attack. They're generally looking a little bit more solid. Can they keep that going as they head back to a point that they have already suffered on pretty bad? Well, not pretty badly, but it was their Dorms that they suffered on pretty badly. This point is one where they were okay. They were close. They got the diffuser down, but they weren't in a great position to then hold it.
Yeah, that is very true indeed. We'll see how it goes down. Move into round number 9. This was very, very, very close. But I think in the end, it was just PZD was just in an unwinnable scenario.
Yeah.
But again, very poor roam clear, and Oregon is traditionally very much about the roam.
So we'll see, obviously, ever since the one Blitz disaster, Julio hasn't gone back onto the Blitz. I think we picked it up too much.
He just didn't want to. He just didn't want to disappoint people. doesn't want to do it anymore. But we will see, again, Team 1 with a fairly aggressive hold here, running both of the Italian operators.
Bellissimo.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it translates. So Panico is playing up in the top of Big Tower again with that ACOG dock. Could catch an unsuspecting PZD. No, PZD swings at the very end there. They suddenly become aware that that is a big spot to get those picks. Wag firing a few preemptive bullets towards them just to cover the rest of the movement. Alibi, iBlack's holding down meeting with her and her 4 selves, generally trying to lock it down. GDN's up in dorms. As you said, this is a pretty aggressive, pretty far out there hold. They've thrown a lot because Lesion is up there as well. There is currently only one operator actually playing on point, which is Hugsword, who must feel very lonely doing everyone's laundry down there. But if they can kind of bait out the time, bait out and slow down Nip, that'll be a very big and decisive decision. It depends how much information now Nip's going to find on this drone.
We will see how he goes through, as we'll see Team 1 still holding down quite well onto this roam game. They have huge roam presence, and I think from Nip, I would have liked to see something like a Jackal come out from them, but we really haven't seen any operators other than, you could argue, potentially the KB, that could really deal with a good roam game here. But there hasn't been much drone work coming out from them. We haven't seen any picks on the roam clear from them just yet. But Ion is going to get very, very lit up by PZD, so we are seeing work finally by Nip here. But as we mentioned during the first half, you can't let these roamers get back to the site so quickly.
No, that's very much, because if they get back to the site and they then bolster the site, they've done their job perfectly. You have to try to cap them. You have to try and catch them out, or you push to the point directly and force them to do a retake. Don't let them have consistent full health control of the site, because then all they've done is waste your time. With only a minute left, every operator is still on the board. PZD and iON have taken a little bit of damage, but apart from that, they're still playing meeting. They're still playing above point.
And they are indeed. We'll see how it goes down as Nip slowly but surely start to gain control. You see Thermite going down from Wag to try and open up laundry, and again from Nip. Just don't really seem to be too bothered about the roam control, just seems to be more bothered about getting into the site and going for a plank. Candelas are going to go into the site. Smokes go down. Kamikaze is going to drop all the way down, but Nitro's come out from Hugsword and immediately shut that all down. Panico takes down Psycho, and now it's a 5v3. Panico will start to return back to the site and just all cleaned up. A flurry of kills go down. Ion, GDN, and Hugsword clean up the site, clean up the house. Team 1 taking a successful defense.
So 5-4, they have one more chance to lock this off, and at the same time, Nip have one more chance to pull this into overtime on this first map. Obviously, again, that was not a great kind of strategy. They didn't do too much on the roam clear. They gave them so much possibility to fall back to site, and it was just a matter of just cleaning up, shooting in one direction, because they only had about 30 seconds left, and you knew at that point, this is where the execute's coming from. We have all of our operators. We have almost all of our utility on point as well. Let's just throw it in their smokes.
Let's just throw in the smokes. Let's just go in there and send it, but it didn't work for Nip at all, and they've got one more opportunity now, one shot, to bring it all into overtime on this map on Oregon. But looking pretty dominant performance so far from Team 1, but I think that the roam clear, again, keep going back to this, but Oregon, very, very much about the roam game.
Yeah, it's, I mean, they're just allowing Team 1 to hold so much control over the map and to hold so much kind of just their positioning. Even, to be fair, I said on dorms they've done some roam clear, but they didn't do a huge amount. They tried to the last time they took dorms and then kept on being picked off. And as you said, firefights that they probably should have won. Team 1 still managed to take them from underneath. Their roam clear game has just left a fair bit to be desired. Even when, obviously, DeKB, who is good at getting information on roam clear, the calls were going off. They knew exactly where the operators were and then still pushed and lost firefights. So you think this is where their game's suffering at the minute. What can they change? What can they bring to change their roam clear game?
Well, I mean, yeah, a Jackal would be good. Blitz, again, would still be very, very good. I mean, we picked up Blitz quite a lot. And we haven't seen a lot of Lesion coming out from Team 1 either. So any kind of shield here from Julio would have been perfect, honestly, in my opinion. But we're not going to see it. We only saw it for one round.
One round, and we didn't even see it. Got capped breaking into the actual building itself, which is never good. But they start to collapse towards the point. iBlack's opened a little bit of a sight hole. They have the mirror being watched by the Lesion across the point as well. Obviously, so far, they've generally tried to push against the wall. It's the most common method of pushing against this point generally, but at the same time, it's normally combined with a pretty concise roam clear. Ion is playing off in big tower, but looks like they're ready to rotate through attic if need be. Instantly, Ying finds GDN. Kamikaze taking control of Armory, and this is exactly what we've kind of wanted to see from Nip. This bit of aggression with the roam clear, pushing in, getting ground, and getting territory inside the building. Honestly,
still, I don't think that Kamikaze should have won that fight because he didn't dedicate any of these Candelas coming out from that. But yeah, no, well played from him to go into the Armory there. Already picking GDN, the Legion, off the board very early on is going to give a lot of utility usage off the board. And looking pretty good for Nip so far because they have a lot of control. But again, not really concentrating on its roam play. We still see Ion on it.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're being fairly a little bit slow. iBlack suffering at the hands of PZD underneath, who takes absolutely nothing, forcing iBlacks off. We hear a mirror window get popped as well. They're pushing them further and further back down the corridor towards the dorm side, taking control of the Armory side. They still have a bit of concern underneath. You can see Ion rotating underneath as well, ready to pincer from below, just in case they get the word. But PZD and Julia are both kind of covering.
We'll see how it goes down. There's lots of drones starting to come out from Nip now, really starting to push off of this aggression and push off of the advantage that they obviously do start to have now. But the operators from Team 1 are starting to just come back to the side a little bit. iBlack's very, very little bit with these engagements from PZD. So not looking too good for Team 1 to hold on to this. But there's not a lot of work being done from Nip right now. They're starting to move in. They're starting to get control. But it's not the utility usage coming out from them. Team 1 still all holding fairly aggressive positions.
No, we've often seen Nip operators go down before they have a chance to use any of their utility. They seem to pick firefights first, hold their utility for their final push, but here we go. Wag drops Panico, the Ying goes off, Psycho finds Hugzord as well. Suddenly a 2 versus 5, and they have control. There goes Psycho against iBlacks, and Kamikaze shutting it off for a flawless attack, bringing us into overtime.
Beautiful attack coming out from Ion there. But, sorry, beautiful defense from Ion, just a little bit on that flank. But just couldn't make it work, just not in the timing coming out from them just yet. Team 1 unsuccessful in that defense will force them into overtime now. And we'll see that it's actually going to be Team 1 who start on the defense. So you think that the coin flip has gone slightly into their favor now. We have seen a slightly defense-sided map so far. But yeah. I think that smoke is definitely hurting Nip more than it's hurting Team 1 here, which is surprising because Nip were the ones to ban out the smoke.
And we have only seen, out of all the rounds so far, we've seen Dorms 4 times, we've seen Stage once, and then we've seen Laundry 5 times. So well, obviously they're going back there, they feel comfortable there. They won both of their holds on Laundry. The first, as I said, was very close. The second wasn't. The second, they completely got shot down on their actual execute. But again, as you said, they're holding their utilities for that very final push. If they're dedicated a little bit towards getting those roam clears, it could have been a very different round.
Defenders, protect your bombs from
it could have been a very different round indeed. Let's go through now into the first round of overtime. Round number 11 getting underway as Team 1 start with a Laundry basement defense coming out of them. This has been pretty poor from them.
Yeah, so far they're pushing. I mean, if we look at the previous round especially, they started to go for a roam clear. They started to get a little bit of control, and then they just gave up getting control. They pulled back out the building. They went for the west main. They watched for rotation possibility from meeting, sure. But they, at that point, you don't know where any of the attackers, defenders are.
I mean, to be fair, you don't need complete roam control to do a successful execute here, but it just helps sometimes. But there's a risk of overextending if you do go for that. If you go for that meeting hall control, you're kind of at risk of overextending, overcommitting to areas that are only being held by roamers. If you're throwing candelas and utility in that you would otherwise want for the execute, and if you do that, and they've already rotated out meeting hall, it's a complete waste of utility.
Yeah, I think they just need to find that balance between the aggression on the initial start of the round and then how that can translate to what's left. Here is the first Candela going off, though. And they have already forced Panico out of Big Tower. Kamikaze, again, who was very quick on the previous push, very quick on this one as well. Don't know who is there currently to back them up, but they are going for control of Big Tower.
Going for that control, indeed. There is a bulletproof cam down there, I think, of course, and right at the end of attic. And yeah, that's an interesting bulletproof cam. I really would have thought it could be more to where Panico is rather than on the Big Tower side.
see Team 1 are all falling back. They're not going to play against any of that kind of firefight. They're just going to give over meeting. And to be fair, this is kind of what they did last time, is they held there for as long as possible. They started utilizing a little bit of eating utility, and then from then on, they pulled back to the point and set themselves up ready to counter the push. But it looks like NiP is setting themselves up in a better position to kind of exploit that. They've pushed them away from meeting. They've generally tried to push them away from electric hatch. They can't cover it. And that allows them to enter through bunker, which is a much safer entrance.
It is a much safer entrance, but there's still plenty of utility on the board from Team 1, but they have started to give up quite a lot of control, and NiP are starting to set up for their execute. They've also got quite a lot of utility on the board as well from their own. GDN, believe, is the only one left on this roam. Looking pretty good for NiP to be able to put down the execute, but they're going to have to secure that control as they do start to push through blue. This is a very unusual push coming out from them right now.
Yes, they've obviously locked off a little bit there, but again, there's a minute left. They have to start trying to find a little bit of aggression, a little bit more ground, a little bit more blood from Team 1. GDN and Panico are both holding top of Attic, and any potential further push into meeting. Everyone's a little bit spaghetti western right now. Ash goes for a little bit of a rotate there. Psycho going to open up another potential entrance. Kamikaze is looking over the response to that, seeing if anyone drops down. We hear the C4 torn, the call's going off. C4 gets thrown, doesn't find anyone, but the Candela goes off as well. They're starting to test each other just from utility. Goes for a peek, sees the alibi, but PZD finds GDN, and that's the Maestro off the board and Lesion, but Panico in the meantime finds Julio.
Yeah, some great potential here coming out. Candelas do start to go further out. The drops come down, but Iblex drops Kamikaze. Panico going to go for the return. Just drops down Electric Bee. Is he going to see there's a person right next to him? What? Wag just takes... What just happened? He just wanders in there. PZD takes down Panico. He's down to 1v1 now. It's all between him and Iblex. He can't find the kill. Team 1 take round number 11 by time. What just happened on that execute?
I have no idea. I would obviously... I don't know what Thermite saw or didn't see. Whether they assumed that was Ash for a second and let Doc run in. They are similar looking, Doc and Ash.
I think it was more one of those things where you start to push up, someone drops electric, and you're like, okay, that's a teammate. They're coming to execute with me. And like, oh, wait, that's not a teammate. And yeah,
that's Doc.
It does start to push you a little bit. I'm absolutely amazed that Wag lost that fight. I don't even think he realized he was in a fight until it started to happen. But yeah, Team 1 do manage to hold on successfully, but a really good attempt from NiP. I think that that time they really mixed it up a little bit with a blue push. Sometimes it can go very wrong for you on a blue push, but they had a lot of control to do it. And I think that if they still had meter control, if they didn't allow Panico to rotate as easily as that, and if Wag had actually killed him, that would have gone very, very differently.
Yeah, obviously they would have probably been able to get the diffuser down at that point, but hey, it's the game of what if. 6-5 overtime match point. NiP have to try to find a way to pull this back in, but obviously this was Team 1's map. This was their map. They wanted to bring the fight here, and to be fair, yeah, first time they met NiP in this tournament on Oregon, they lost 3-6. It was a much more solid NiP, or to be fair, the NiP could have been the same caliber, but it was a much weaker Team 1. Team 1 have definitely shown up more against NiP this game.
Yeah, they definitely have. They've had some pretty impressive plays on Oregon. But I think out of all the 3 maps, this is the one that goes into Team 1's favor. I think the rest of them, NiP are set up fairly well to go into.
I'm still exceptionally excited to see Consular.
I think Consular isn't one, obviously, we haven't seen so far yet, but I still think that Consular does play into NiP's playstyle quite a lot. But if we do get to our decider, I still feel like Bank is very much NiP's map to win. But we will see round number 12 getting underway now. We'll see NiP trying to defend a fairly aggressive roam game coming out from them. PCD could be holding down on some meeting hold, but Team 1 are going to get away with a fairly aggressive roam clear as well. I mean, we've seen pretty good roam clear coming out from them so far. Interesting that Iblex is taking the reflex this time rather than the hollow.
Okay, well, whatever makes you feel comfortable in this overtime match point situation. But as we said, one thing about Team 1 is their drone game and their information clear is very quick and very sharp. But we'll see if NiP can find a way through that, because if they do pick one hole, if they do find that one blind spot, they can they can exploit that very, very well and very, very efficiently. Obviously, we still have Valk of Psycho playing up in Big Tower. There's a lot of possibilities. There is the Jaeger of PZD, the Blitz of, the Bandit of PZD, the other German operator, playing on stage in meeting. So they still have a lot of possibility, but they are just going to start opening up the drop down from Western Main.
There's been great IQ usage coming out here from Team 1 so far, especially from Hugzord, and speed droning it all out, and that drone is actually going to get caught by the Bandit there. Wag's Echo drone is going to be just sat in the top of Attic here. Very nicely good communication coming out there from Nip, as Psycho picks up the first kill of the round, but Ion is going to find the return. Wag goes down, but Kamikaze instantly going to trade it right on back. I can't believe that Echo let himself get picked like that.
Yeah, he was kind of caught out in the open, too involved in his Echo drones and keeping his eyes on the prize. But GDN starts to get rid of barbed wire, setting themselves up to push against Laundry, taking out any Legion mines as well, possibility just from the ankles. But again, they're still not sure about meeting, because if a collapse comes against their execute, that could mark the end of their whole drones out. Valkyrie, Hugzord is going to start pre-firing, but nothing hits Psycho. Still just dug behind one of the reinforcements, holding themselves up for as long as possible. There is Claymore, goes out for a wide peek. The Valkyrie throws the C4, but Hugzord pushes aggressively through it and drops Psycho.
What a massive mace play coming out from Psycho. So aggressive from Hugzord, does manage to take down the Valkyrie, but 20 seconds left to go on the clock, and Nip still have so much utility here. And Julio still playing behind his mirror in a great position. Not a lot that Team 1 can actually do about this. And this Nitro is going to go out from Julio. That's going to be beautiful. But no, he gets caught midair. Oh my god, another Nitro comes out in return. That does take down GDN. That denies the plan. But Julio takes down Panico as he drops the hatch. And Hugzord goes down to Kamikaze. Nip take this to Max OT.
6-6 Max OT. The shooting of the C4 out of the air. I mean, it's one of those things. You can never really rely on that. So
what I will say is that at low pings, that, you know, Brazil, some reason are very famous for having like all their pro players have super low ping. It is actually much easier to shoot that Nitro in midair. It's still very impressive, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's like it's clay pigeon
Skeet shooting, yeah, definitely very well with that. But it is slightly easier in a low ping. You do see it more at LAN than you do see it online. But yeah, absolutely incredible that Nitro got shut out, but wasn't good enough because there was another backup Nitro, and it goes back to my point about how Nip still had so much utility on board.
They were ready for that kind of push, and again, the Roamers collapsing in, pulling back, bringing the firefights, and just making them never comfortable on that main explosion entrance. It's exactly what you want them to do. However, we'll say the ball is in T1's court now. And it is theirs to set up on this defense. Generally, defense has been more solid, won more rounds this entire map. Nip are going to have to pull something out here to take it off Team 1 that has been very locked down.
Yeah, we'll see if Team 1 can score a slam dunk here, or if Nip will be able to dribble it away from him. Let's go with this whole ball court thing you were going for there.
It's a different sport, but I appreciate the sentiment.
Well, ball in the court, in a base... You know, we're all in courts, okay?
We're all in courts.
There's a ball in the court. Basketball works as well.
We can see they are reinforcing with finding themselves in we're getting the threatened to end the stream signal from the producers now. They're finding themselves setting up against Storms. They're going to lock it down. Panico going to be playing in Meeting Hall. Well, going to be at least throwing utility down in Meeting Hall. Obviously, we've seen Team 1 play this roam game where they've been happy to collapse when they need to. It was obviously a bit of a confusion in their collapse previously where they caught Wag completely by surprise, but apart from that, the dock did go down, and it was very close to going back the other way. But at the same time, they're also throwing GDN up there with the Echo as well as a mirror. So whether they're digging in for a bit more of a long haul upstairs, trying to bite more firefight to waste more of Nip's time, potentially.
The objective is upstairs, so yeah, they will be holding on to that. Good observation coming out, Flute, that they will be trying to hold on to the objective, and we'll see how Nip want to deal with this upstairs take. But again, Team 1 have huge amounts of utility on the board here. We'll see how exactly they go about doing that, but it looks like they're, again, going for this fairly heavy roamer strategy downstairs. And if you remember last time, there were some really aggressive peaks that came out from Team 1 that, in my opinion, they won a lot of fights that they really ought to not have done.
Yeah.
But this time they're not bringing the Maestro.
No. I mean, the way they've kind of been rotating in and out of operators in terms of just the smokes have been a big part of NiP's push, and the kind of, we say they save their utility for that final push, and then they kind of go all out a lot of the times, and sometimes it's the mistake of not using it soon enough, sometimes it's like the perfect balance of using it. But having the Maestro just to look through all of that has been a very big boon towards Team 1's abilities to shut that down.
Yeah, it definitely has been, but we have still seen quite a lot of defender-sided play coming out here, and Team 1 have definitely, you know, they've accelerated that kind of play style coming out. We'll see how it goes down, but NiP looking pretty good to try and take this now because they've got huge amounts of control, and they do have Julio on the book finally, although I'm not sure how much utility that Julio's going to be able to get out of this because there's still quite a heavy downstairs hold, but Psycho is going to find hopefully the first kill here as he jumps all the way in, but no, Ion is going to be there in the showers, waits to instantly trade it right on back. Psycho going to go down. That's a 4v4, but that's already a Nitro off the board, so I'd say that's a very worthwhile trade. The Valkyrie going to go down, Scandilla's to go out, Nitro's go out, but not going to find their mark. Hugzor going to be below, is going to throw out Nitro in the completely wrong place as Ion takes down PZD, and Wag finds the one onto Ion right in response. Wag with the double kill, the Fragmite going to go in, and going to try and plant the diffuser now. Almost TKs Julio there, but doesn't get him just yet. Hugzor on the return, but Kamikaze just lying down in the middle of the site. Takes him down. GDN all in his favor to win this. 30 seconds left to go. Doesn't really have enough time to deny it completely with the Yokai drone, but can use it into his favor. Gains a lot of intel from this as well. Denies a little bit of time here. Buys himself some of it. Kamikaze just sprints all the way into the site. It just gets picked by GDN, moving all the way through. But Julio takes down GDN. Ninjas in Pyjamas will be your victors of Oregon 7-6.
7-6. They take it, they push through, they take Team 1's map, and they're happy to go to Consulate as their map. 7-6, and Dorms was definitely the last point. Not Laundry. Ignore everything I say. I am kind of sick of seeing Laundry as a point now. We've seen it more than, I think it's been 50% at least of all points across this entire tournament. But we go through with NiP taking map 1, 7-6. Consulate is next. We haven't seen that at all this tournament, and that is going to be very good. But we are going to take a quick break, I believe, unless we're going to mention first a giveaway.
Yeah, so if you go to rainbow6pit.com/giveaway, and I hope one time I'll be able to say that without stumbling over my words, you can see all of those beautiful gifts that you can get. It's free.
It's free. Just do it.
Multiple times. Just go to that URL while we wait for our break. You can go and enter the giveaway and get a little bit of a prize for your time. We'll see how that goes down. We're going to see about a 3-minute break here for commercials while we swap over maps to Consulate.